$337,000. Tell us the story briefly.
More like retell. Am I right? Am I right? Hbomberguy's newest video, Plagiarism and You, Tube, was huge. It was an amazing video that taught us many valuable lessons about how plagiarism manifests itself on this site. It also effectively berserk eclipsed the career of now well-known plagiarist James Somerton. Now, if that saying sounds familiar to you, I've actually proven my point about how influential this video was further. See, that saying was in Hbomberguy's video, and that's probably why you find it familiar.
His 2004 documentary, MMR, What They Didn't Tell You, effectively berserk eclipsed Wakefield's career as a legitimate doctor.
Now, at one point, I was a James Somerton fan. I thought he had interesting things to say about queer topics. Of course, it turned out he was stealing it. So, it was actually the writers who he stole from who had those interesting things to say. I will admit, though, I kind of organically stopped watching him anyway because his video presentation was so boring. I moved on to other, better queer YouTubers who don't steal their work, like Jesse Gender. And Hbomberguy. Anyway, that's all the background you need to know. Now, this video has prompted a huge amount of discussion. I haven't really felt like I have anything to contribute until today. Because there's a point I realized I could make in a hopefully unique and interesting way, and that's by trying to recite Hbomberguy's plagiarism video word for word with only the visuals. Now I'm going to get to that point at the end, and then we're going to talk about it. For now though, let's get right into the recitement process. Alright guys, here we go. Hello, I'm over here. I wanted to originally just dub the video, but then I realized I wouldn't be able to prove that I wasn't just looking at it with captions somewhere else. So here is an actual camera recording of me dubbing the video, where you can see, with me clearly in the reflection, that I am not cheating. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. $337,000. Tell us the story briefly. In 1970, in Analog magazine, Harlan Ellison and Ben Bova published the short story, Brillo. Harlan's one of the most famous writers of all time, but Bova's no slouch. He soon became editor of Analog, where he won 5 different awards. This isn't one of his. He accepted this on behalf of George R.R. Martin, whose career he started. He couldn't make it. He was too busy at a chess tournament at the time. Writers used to have fun. Now they just complain about Twitter, on Twitter. Brillo is about a robot cop. A commonplace trope today, and soon in real life. It's because Brillo pads are metal, you know. That's good. It wasn't the first one. The first one might have been Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov. This is important. Just remember this for later, please. This is really important. Anyway, Harlan and Bova pitched Brillo to NBC, and a executive named Terry Keegan said no to them. And then on Paramount, the same executive, Terry Keegan, said no again. He clearly wasn't a fan of the robot cop idea. And then later on, he actually sold a show called Future Cop he sold a show called Future Cop, and it was about a robot cop, just like Brillo was. And our boys realized they'd been ripped off, and they wanted to sue immediately. When I saw it, I wanted to sue immediately, but then they told me, forget it, man. You'll get blacklisted. They'll never want to work with you again. You'll get owned. The plaintiff always loses. You know, it's just not a good idea. But I decided I wanted to do it anyway because it was really important to me. In his deposition, Terry Keegan said he never read Brillo, which was an obvious lie. And then the memos that proved he'd ripped them off were burned. So the jury was in favor of Harlan and Bova, and they got a bunch of money, which is like $1 million in today's currency. And then they put up a billboard. And it said, writers, don't let them steal from you. Keep their hands out of your pockets. I mean, he said he was going to, and then articles claimed it happened, but I couldn't find actual, evidence of it, so I don't know. Let's hope it's true. But they made off with that delicious money either way. Yum, yum. So, that's a good thing. So, what's that about? You know that trick that video essayists use at the start of their videos where they open with an related example, and then they segue into a broader point? Well, I wanted to open on a recent example of a writer winning a plagiarism case, but there isn't one. So this ancient case is the last time that writers won a plagiarism suit. and it was before me or statistically you were ever born. Really, there's not much that people can do about plagiarism except just talk about it. There's really not much you can do. So I'm going to try and set some of it right. So here we are in my studio, and we're going to talk about some examples of plagiarism on YouTube. I made a video about this like 6 years ago, and there was a guy named Lukey Poo, and he stole my video, and then he released an apology, or no, he released a video calling me overreactive, and then later he apologized. Yeah, he said, "You're such an incredible YouTuber," and that's why I borrowed your video. Thanks, Luke. Apology accepted. Now, he has since rebranded his channel, seeming to notice the irony of branding himself as a literal piece of shit, but his videos are still awash with plagiarism accusations. The only new parts now are him saying homophobia is fine. Maybe the rebrand was a little too soon. Now, this still happens a lot. Plagiarism is still a big problem. You get ripped off a lot on YouTube. A lot of people with bigger numbers can just take your stuff and they'll profit off of it, and there's not much you can do except talk about it. So, what am I going to do about this? Well, I'm going to talk about some examples of YouTube plagiarism, and this is being made during the creative writers' strike, so this is really topical and important. I'm very smart for covering it right now. So I'm going to set some of it right. We need Harlan Ellison's billboard more than ever, but it sounds expensive and I don't know where to find a billboard, so let's just talk about plagiarism on YouTube instead. I'm going to go with some old examples and then some recent examples, and who knows, I might even ruin some of your favorite YouTubers for you. Maybe. Let's start some fights. I feel like I might have read that part a bit too. Okay, there we go. I think that's where he said it. Okay, here's the intro. Yeah, I think I read a bit too early. Part 1, Filip. Filip Miucin was a game reviewer who mainly covered Nintendo games. And he mainly made content about the Nintendo Switch. He was then hired by IGN to make presumably more high-quality content. He had some very fancy transition on his video that everyone could do. And yes, then he was hired by IGN. He became their director of something, and he joined forces with IGN in 2018. In 2018, he uploaded a video titled Dead Cells Review, and Boomstick Gaming, another YouTuber, noticed that it was very similar, so he made a video saying that he copied it. And there are some comparisons that definitely make it look like it makes sense. Dead Cells takes the progression of Metroidvania and integrates it into this procedurally generated action roguelike, but with the words replaced. This combat system is fast, fluid, responsive, and one of the most rewarding representations of 2D combat of the entire genre. Fights are fast, fluid, responsive, and hands down, one of the most gratifying representations of video game combat I've ever experienced. Dead Cells figures out an intriguing way to have your roguelite and Metroidvania experience all in one by focusing on your failures and urging you to try something new the next time. Dead Cells strikes a perfect and engaging balance between the Metroidvania and roguelite experiences by focusing on your failures and urging you to experiment each time you do fail. Dead Cells only falters slightly in some repetition, setting in, especially on the early areas and during longer play sessions. Dead Cells does falter slightly with some repetition, but it's only felt in the earlier areas and during extended play sessions. Speaking of repetition, oh my god. Philip's review was taken down while IGN investigated the issue, and then later they let him go from the company. He was gone after that. So that was a bit of an embarrassing moment. He got owned. He really got owned. I totally forgot what he said here. But likely he rolled that dice in the past, and that he was only just caught now, so there must have been more. Over at Kotaku, Jason Schreier's article was updated to include an anonymous tip that he had also copied a review from Nintendo Life on by Chris Scullion in 2017. Now, this was for his personal channel before he joined IGN, so he'd been doing this for a while. Now, fans of the FIFA series will immediately be able to get to grips with the game as soon as they start. Okay, FIFA 18 review. Okay, what are we looking at here? I'm kind of confused. Okay, close-up moments reveal that the character models are a good deal less detailed than their Xbox One and PS4 counterparts. Right, so that's how he does it. He changes the words very badly, and that's why this is so weird. Yeah. Now, in Filip's version, it's pretty clear that they do have a good amount of less detail. No one would ever write that sentence on purpose. You only get that by trying to change something that you stole. Now, he can also reword sentences so badly that he causes misinformation to spread with his videos, which is a pretty pressing issue. For example, he makes up a feature in FIFA 16, as well as the Women's League, but that is not actually a feature. There are no women's leagues in FIFA 16. There's women's football, but leagues are very specific real-life organizations that do not exist in the game. Filip's plagiarism caused him to reword a sentence so badly that he invented a feature that doesn't exist. When this was all boiling down, Filip released a response. Not an apology, a response. In this response, he denied basically everything, and it was criticized pretty much by everyone. A lot of people didn't like the response. He shifted the blame. He didn't take accountability for anything. He accused people of being out to get him. It was really bad, and yeah. Now, but this is actually really useful to look back on. It's actually super important. When someone tries to imply that what happened to the review happened through magic instead of through their own active choices, then they are trying to deceive you. I don't actually remember what he said in this section, so I'm just going to dub this over with my voice randomly. Yeah, that he doesn't take responsibility, circumstances, and the point is to make you forget what happened by thinking about what really happened. And this is his passive voice section. At the end of the day, I was the editorial lead, so it was my responsibility what happened with the review. Now, this is a common trick that plagiarists use, and when they get caught, they decide to call it something that happened to them instead of taking responsibility for the fact that they did it. When someone tries to imply that what happened to them happened through magic, then they make it pretty clear that they're trying to deceive you. I also don't remember what he said here, to be honest. This is just me completely winging it. What did he say again? Was this the part where he mentioned the lynch mob? Side note, it's kind of weird that he used a lynch mob as his comparison, considering that's like a really serious thing that happens to black people in United States. I don't know why he used that comparison. It's really fucked. It wasn't mentioned in the original video, but I'm just going to point it out here. Dead cells does falter. Well, okay, I still don't know what he's saying. I'm still completely lost at this point. Can you guys see the point I'm trying to make with this video yet? No? Okay. Let's just go to the part where I remember the next words. Oh god. This is bad. Okay. He's just talking at the screen now. I don't know what I'm doing. Help. Oh no. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think I've lost the plot. I don't know anymore. It's kind of over for me. I can still recover this. I can at least make it through to the Filip section. I can at least make it through to the Filip section. Or to the end of the Filip section, I mean. What is he saying now? I have no idea. I can't lip read. If I could lip read, I could easily do this, but I can't. I can't do it. It's just not a thing. Okay, is this where he mentions the lynch mob? Okay. Is this where he says it? It's not fun being the target of a lynch mob and yeah, whatever. He accuses Jason Schreier of being out to get him, which is really weird because he's just reporting on what he did. Yeah, the bad guy is the guy who's trying to find all the stuff I did and not me, the guy who did all of it. Maybe he just likes kicking people when they're down. Scullion received a lot of abuse from him, so he's a bit of a hypocrite for making this point. Scullion, well, not from him, his fans. I should clarify that, even though this is a bad read aloud. It's really important to get the facts straight. Well, yeah, this is such a bad apology. I can't even really. I'm not really keeping up here. Oh God. Okay, yeah, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I'm so cooked. Is there any way? Is there any way I can recover? I need to. If you cut back to Hbomberguy, if I get an indicator of what comes next in the timeline, then maybe I can maybe I can recover this. Yeah, this apology was very bad. It demonstrated very key factors on why plagiarism is bad, and what tactics people use to cover their ass and whatever. Chris Scullion is also saying something here that I don't. I mean, he's calling out Filip for playing the victim and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh my God, there's so many long clips of him just talking. I can't. This guy's face is gonna be in my fucking nightmares now. I've always just been passively listening to the video, and I've never actually sat down and watched it. I've just listened to the video as like a podcast, and now fuck. Okay, devastate mobs and mobs upon enemies with simple as the combos. Tear through forts and mini bosses with the most flashiest attacks. The lengthy list of allegations against me. IGN pulls everything from the company. They've never had to do that before. Oh God. He stole from Super Mario Odyssey on the Super Mario Wiki or something. Did this actually happen? Did Filip actually do that? That can't be real. God, even for Filip, that just seems so out of control. Oh, is this about I don't actually know anything about this. So he took down a lot of his videos, and his monthly views dropped by almost 1 million, which is very. I mean, it's no hard loss, but it sucks for me because now I don't have any reference footage to cut to, which is a big travesty, and it's very bad, and yeah, it's not good. It's I don't like it, but yeah, Filip he did a lot of plagiarism, and oh. Fuck me, we're so cooked here. Oh, we need something to get us back on track. When he brings up the NeoGAF post, okay, that's when I'm gonna get. Yeah, okay, that's where we get it. Okay, yeah, okay. He did a review on the Octopath Traveler, and his explanation is just stolen from a fucking NeoGAF post. Like, why would you ever do that? 2D Square Enix, the developers. He stole stuff from Jeremy Parish and Polygon. Dang, I got extruded right into the middle of a scandal, which is probably the funniest part to come out of all this. I mean, if people will know what's up if you use words like extrudes, if you can barely string a sentence together. I said that out of order. No one cares. He stole Seth Macy's words, his coworker from IGN, which is like super fucked up. Like imagine taking games journalism seriously and working at IGN, and someone just takes a hatchet to your stuff and just gets a paycheck for it. That's so terrible. Seth Macy made a tweet about that, and he was very mad because his coworker stole from you. Yeah, you would be pretty mad if that happened. I would be. So Filip Miucin lost everything. They pulled everything from their site, which IGN has never had to do before. Right? No organization has ever had to do that before, as far as I know. So he took the HD Rumble, and his explanation is stolen from a fucking NeoGAF post. While normal Rumble is just a motor which spins, creating a vibration. Basically, HD Rumble uses linear actuators, similar to Apple's Tactic engine, which is what they use for the Force Touch stuff in the new iPhones and Apple Watch. I believe that these are different in that they are more likely weighted electromagnets rather than a simple spinning motor. I believe. You believe that? Holy shit. He stole from very obscure places. Is the section over soon? Oh my God, there's still several minutes left. Okay, get back on track. The NeoGAF's post is my moment. Okay, he released a second apology, arguably his first apology since he didn't really apologize in the first one. Hey guys, sorry, I let you down. I did a bunch of bad things. He doesn't mention he apologizes directly to many of the places that he stole from, but he doesn't mention the forum post, his own coworkers, or the other stuff, because in admitting to the truly embarrassing stuff would likely make him look way worse and like a liar, because you can't really trust him if his apology includes lying to your face in the past. And this is about making him look more humble and honest. That's the main reason he makes this apology. He made this apology. Like, you can't really admit to the truly embarrassing stuff if yeah. He uploaded a third apology. I'm getting deja vu from this. Hey guys, in this third apology, he decided to provide some context to why he did what he did. And he mentioned that he was very scared of putting out a bad review. His anxiety was heightened a lot by working at IGN. And he decided to plagiarize because he felt very insecure about his writing abilities, even though he was confident in his video editing abilities, despite the fact that he had basic transitions and didn't really make good videos in the first place, which is really funny. But however, I don't accept that he has anxiety, and that's the reason, because as a matter of fact, most writers have anxiety. I'd argue most writers do, but many of them don't handle it by stealing shit. That's just not a thing. I just don't accept. No. It's no. He uses fancy transition packs, which is like the worst possible red flag. But beyond that, the videos are just bad. Like, they're just not interesting. He does like videos about the Nintendo Switch before it's top 5 best ways to play the Nintendo Switch, a console no one can play. I don't know what he's saying here. Gonna be. He's reviewing some fucking empty fucking box. I don't know. He has like, oh, I'm jealous of his microphone. Mine's beat up and has tape all over it because I fucking broke the pop filter, but whatever. How do you do, fellow kids energy I've ever seen from a 29-year-old man, 28? I have no idea. Fact check me on this. He does egregious growth tricks like giveaways for subscribers. His following didn't grow organically from people liking him or his content. It grew because he gave away free shit if you subscribe. Now, I believe that the most meaningful thing that Filip has ever said, it lies somewhere in apology number 3. It's not true, but it is meaningful. In apology number 3, he said, is this too early? Does he say that here? Is there another thing? Actually, is this where he brings up Nihongyo Gamer? I'm getting things out of order. Yeah, this is where he brings up Nihongyo Gamer or Nihongo Gamer. I got that wrong. Nihongo Gamer. Well, he's a better YouTuber than Filip because he actually made his own original stuff, and Filip just kind of like was repetitive and took Nihongo's videos and just kind of made them his own thing. But because he's so bad and he doesn't know how to do anything on his own, his videos were much worse and he didn't know what he was doing. And laugh at this man. Yeah, I mean, don't actually harass him because Hbomberguy was clear about harassment in that video. But still, we can point and laugh at this clip. Yeah, he's just not good at making videos. He's bad and sucks. And his channel was bad and sucked and doesn't make good videos Okay, I'm cooked again, guys. I tried to follow up until this point. We're getting close to the end of the Filip section. I think when he brings up the Michelle Obama. Okay. Yeah. In a recent interview, he felt like he had imposter syndrome, which is wishful thinking because there's a difference between being an imposter and having imposter syndrome. Like, objectively being an imposter. Like, he pretended to be a writer when he was actually just a liar and a thief and a con and all that. Now, I believe the most meaningful thing Filip has ever said is in apology number 3. It's not true, but it's meaningful. And in apology number 3, he said, what did he say? At what point does it actually start? It's not true, but it's me. Okay, there we go. Yep. I took from sources that I respected and tried to reword them in a way that I thought I would say them. Now, he says that he respects these places that he stole from, but he took from really niche places, like because who the fuck is Boomstick Gaming? He had like 10,000 subscribers when this happened. He took from wiki posts, Nintendo Wire, Nintendo Life, and fucking NeoGAF's forum posts. Like, he doesn't respect those. If you consider things so obscure you can get away with stealing them, you do not respect them. And everyone understands this intrinsically, which is why so many people in the games industry were mad. Okay, remember Caves of Steel? That gets brought up again. Remember that. Terry Keegan accused Harlan Ellison and Ben Bova of copying Caves of Steel, but they went and they talked to Isaac Asimov, and Isaac Asimov says, "You don't steal from your friends. You don't steal from your friends. We've known each other for ages, and they would never steal from me." Because we're besties. I mean, Isaac Asimov, Harlan Ellison, Ben Bova were basically like the Beatles of writing. Okay, this guy, here's another example of Brent Rivera copying Drew Does, because because the guy is like very obscure compared to him. He's notorious for you know, he has a lot of subs, and he makes fun of people who have less subscribers, and he's very notorious for stealing. And he considers himself more important because he has the bigger number. So the other channels are so obscure he can get away with stealing them, in his opinion. In 2016, there was one of the Republican conventions was found to have plagiarized the speech from Michelle Obama at the Democrat convention in the 2008 election. Okay, not 2016. Oh no. Yes, it was 2016. I'm apparently The plagiarized one was 2008, and then the 2016 one was the one that was... No. Yeah, the one that came as a result of the plagiarism, yeah. But why didn't they copy a Nancy Reagan speech about killing the poor or locking up black people for using the drugs her husband gave them? No, they hate that shit. No, they love that shit, actually. I messed that up. Yeah, they plagiarize their enemies because it's like getting one over on them. No one was ever fired after this blunder. No one was ever fired after this was pointed out, because the Democrats don't care. Sorry, the Republicans don't care if the Democrats get plagiarized. You could break into like Obama's house and like steal his spoons or something, and beat him to death with spoons, and they'd probably pay you like a cash prize or something like that. I mean, here's something petty I should have forgotten about but didn't. But when Lukey Poo made his response to me, he brought up that he got my video from Twitch, from someone on Twitch who's definitely real. He also took the time to explain that he didn't like that I criticized right-wing YouTubers. I thought he was a decent video creator. I didn't like some of the things he did with, like, when he went after Sargon of Akkad and some other YouTubers and whatever, and other stuff. I need to get please tell me I get the iconic quote. Why was it so important for him to signal his allegiances like this? I mean, he wanted to to make his plagiarism seem like a larger thing in a culture war, because I'm the bad guy, so I deserve to be ripped off, and that's why he did it. So it's actually good if he did that. Yeah. At this point, I'm convinced the only thing Hbomberguy needs more than a testosterone shot and estrogen blockers are... Fuck. I think I missed it. I'll still say it, though. Estrogen blockers and a testosterone shot is a lesson in humility. Okay, where doesn't, I mean this as a compliment, the most fuckable twink I've ever seen get off telling me to manage my T levels. Is he speaking from experience? There we go. I did the quote. I don't actually know what's said in this area. Your ideas are wasted on you. They'd be better served in my videos. We're a better class of person. We're better... Fuck. Okay. We're almost done, right? Yep, okay. If people continue to be aggressive at Filip for a while, especially the people at IGN, because he damaged their credibility, because if you produce plagiarized content, then it's really hard to get that goodwill back. Obviously, yeah. He was bad and he did some bad things, and we can learn some lessons from this about what to do, and that's cool. Now anyway, on to part 2, Cinemassacre. Okay, I'm done. I think I've proved my point. I don't think we have to go on like this. All right, let's end the recording. So, what do we learn? Well, it turns in, that's also a reference to the video, that I can't really remember most of the words in the script. Like, even with the visuals in front of me, I was struggling so much to remember what was said at any given moment. I had every cue I could possibly have needed, and I still failed. So, what is the takeaway here? Well, remembering shit is hard. Certainly remembering topics is easy, but remembering exact words is not. And this proves the hypothesis I had before even starting this experiment. I was sure I was not going to be able to replicate the script just from memory. Now that also points to something more general. Accidental plagiarism doesn't exist. In his video, Hbomberguy has a section about Cinemassacre. Basically, someone who wrote scripts for Cinemassacre, Newt Wallen, was fired after it was found out he plagiarized basically all of them. But the original excuse he had was that it was accidental plagiarism. However, that type of accidental plagiarism doesn't really exist. I think a lot of people are under the impression that it might be possible to accidentally plagiarize by simply remembering words you read somewhere and then repeating them. Now, I just want to make this abundantly clear. I have rewatched that video so many times, like at least 10, and still, with only the visuals, I could barely remember what was said. I probably got about 10% of that right, at best. I'm sure it's different from person to person, but I simply do not believe the majority of people can accurately retranscribe text from somewhere that they remember vaguely perfectly. And for the most part, if someone is able to remember something so well that they can write it down perfectly, I think they know what they're remembering in that case. I've seen so much anxiety about accidental plagiarism after that video dropped. I've heard people say, "Oh God, what if I did that? What if I accidentally transcribed words from somewhere else? What if it was me? What if I'm gonna be in an Hbomberguy video?" Well, first of all, being in an Hbomberguy video, whether as the target of his scorn or as a friend of his, would be a huge honor, to be honest with you, and B, that's just not gonna happen. Because again, you can't accidentally plagiarize like that. So at the end of the day, I kinda just hope this video serves to reassure you. Sure, it is possible that you made some citation errors, you missed some sources. I'm sure that happens every now and then. I'm sure I've done it a couple times. But those are honest mistakes, and plagiarism, as is described in Hbomberguy's video, is a very conscious, very dishonest non-mistake. So that's what I was hoping to establish with this video. And by the way, Hbomberguy, if you're watching, thank you very much. Not just for exposing James, but also just for, I don't know, everything. Your videos are cool, man. Oh, and obviously, huge shout out to Kat Lowe as well. She's Hbomberguy's producer, and she basically does a lot of the work for that channel. So yeah, shout out to everyone who made that video possible. You really did a good thing for YouTube. And shout out to everyone who cites their sources and really cares about not committing plagiarism, because that makes you cool.